Something smooth yet sinister, coming through to diminish you. And this here's the finisher. Check it out.
Going on, guys? Trey coming back at your screen by means of the World Wide Web. And let me just let you guys know right off the bat that this is now going to be my third attempt at recording this video, okay? I tried it once last night, alright? The file ended up getting corrupted, okay? It didn't even finish recording properly, alright? Second time I tried to record it again last night, alright? The file finished recording, but the audio somehow got corrupted. So you only heard audio for like the first 4 minutes, and then it just went blank, alright? So, attempt number 3. Let's hope this is it, alright? Because this video was supposed to be up yesterday, guys. I apologize for that. I really tried. Things were just not going right for your boy. But today we are going to get into the information about the newest 7 stars in Global Brave Frontier, that being Michelle, Melchio, and Exvehl, alright? They now have their 7 stars in the game. If you do not have all 3 of these units, they do have a rare summon gate with them in it with increased rates, alright? So your boy personally, there's no need for that, alright? I actually have all 3 of these units in Anima type. So I'm Gucci, alright? There's no need for me to do any pulls for them. But if you need them, there is a rare summon gate there, alright? You can't use summon tickets in that gate, by the way. Why? I don't know. Okay? So basically what I'm going to do in this video, guys, is break down these 3 new 7 stars, alright? So I'm going to tell you pretty much everything I think I can tell you about these units, okay? Try my best anyway. So the first one we're going to be talking about right here at the top, 7 star. I'm sorry, I already evolved all 3 of them, guys, okay? Like I said, I tried to record this video twice before, did not work, so I ended up already evolving them. I will tell you what you need to evolve them right off the bat, okay? For Immortal Beast Exvehl, you need a Thunder Mecha God, Miracle Totem, Thunder Totem, Dragon Mimic, Legend Stone, and 1.5 million Zell. Alright? Now, excuse me, let's get into some information about Exvehl, alright? Beast unit. Normal hit count is 12, alright? He gets 3 on the drop check per hit for a total of 36 on the normal attack, alright? Now his BB is completely support, alright? It starts out with a BC requirement of 24. When you max it out, it goes down to 15, alright? As it is support, it does not attack at all, alright? Now the SBB, it is a 28 hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 30 and a drop check of 28 per unit with a 500% damage modifier, okay? And then lastly, we got the UBB. It is a 32 hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 25, and of course it produces 32 BCs per enemy unit, alright? And it has a damage modifier of 1000. Pretty freaking beast. Alright, now for the imp caps on this bad boy, 1000 on the HP, 300 on the attack, 600 on the defense, 400 for recovery. Alright, now let's get down to what this unit is all about, guys. We have the leader skill here. It's called Ruling Beast Commandment. 40% boost the max HP of all allies. Pretty good freaking stuff there. You're on par with Trident with that one, so good stuff, Exvehl. Probable HP recovery when attacked. Alright, the way that works, you have a 40% chance to recover 20% of the damage that was dealt to you. Alright, and he also recovers HP each turn. Alright, it's somewhere between 500 and 1000 HP plus 10% of the unit's recovery. Alright, so not bad there either. Alright, now the ES, or the extra skill, I really like. Alright, Cannon has the same extra skill, just a different name, but I like units that have this. Alright, if you pay attention to the spheres that I have on my Exvehl here, neither one of these spheres prevents status ailment. Main reason being because his extra skill is that he negates all status ailments. Alright, so as long as you have this guy, this unit's UBB unlocked, you do not have to worry about status ailments ever. Alright, you can't hit him with status ailments. There's no such thing as an extra skill lock in Brave Frontier. At least not yet. Alright, so in the meantime, we're good on that. Don't need to worry about status ailments, so that frees up a sphere for you to use for whatever else you may want to use it for. Alright, I decided to hit him with the 4 bonds. All right, just in case you don't know what that sphere does, it shows it here. All right. Now, the BB, very similar to a 6-star form, removes all status ailments, negates it for 3 turns, boosts max HP, and that's about 10%, and slightly recovers HP. All right, so not too bad there. All right. The SBB is when we start getting into the butt whipping. All right, it's called Dyna Streak. 28 combo powerful thunder attack on all allies, removes all status ailments and negates them for 3 turns, and boosts BB gauge fill rate. All right, and that is a 30% boost at SBB level 10. So not bad, definitely not bad. That's a step up from the 6-star for sure. Now we have his UBB. It is called Spark Domination. 32 combo massive thunder attack on all foes, boosts enemies spark vulnerability, and that is by 100% for 3 turns, and boosts attack relative to max HP for 3 turns, and that's about 20%. All right, so basically it takes 20% of your HP, stacks it to your attack. All right, and in case you didn't know, whenever you have these units that boost something relative to that, it stacks. All right, for example, Exvehl takes 20% of your max HP and stacks it with your attack. All right. Now, if you were to use, like, say for example, Melchio, all right, who gives a 140% boost at SBB level 10 to attack, Exvehl's UBB will still stack with that attack boost. All right. So these type of units, highly recommend you add them to your crew. All right. Not so much ones that need to use this type of stuff with the UBB. But you got units like Melchio, Balgran, who have these type of increase this stat relative to this stat type of move with just SBB. All right, very good units. So as far as Exvehl goes, arena lead, I don't think so. Arena unit period, I still don't think so. All right, but Frontier Hunter, most definitely Frontier Hunter. All right, that's pretty much where Exvehl shines. All right, of course you can use just about any unit for quest mode, and Exvehl I'm sure will be good in trials too. He probably won't be the biggest choice, all right, since we got units like 7-star Melchio in the game now, but Exvehl still very powerful unit. All right, good unit for sure. All right, so that is our discussion on Exvehl, guys. All right, so let's back on up out of here and let's move on to our next unit. And our next unit is going to be whoever I come across first. I got this junk on acquired. Let me clear that filter. Boom, there we go. All right, so next on the list is going to be Michelle. There she is. I'm not done with my Michelle yet. I just boosted up that level a little bit. So here is Wildfire Lotus Michelle, guys. All right, let me go ahead and start off by letting you know what you need to evolve her. All right, so in order to evolve her up to 7-star, you need a Fire Mecha God, Miracle Totem, Fire Totem, Dragon Mimic, Legend Stone, and 1.5 million Zell, guys. Okay, so let's get into what she's capable of, guys. Michelle has a 18-hit normal attack, pretty decent. All right, she generates 2 BCs per hit for a total drop check of 36. All right, same as Exvehl. Her BB is no longer just support. All right, she does attack with her BB now, which is sweet. The same as with Melchio. All right, Melchio does also attack with his BB instead of just being support and painting a squad and whatnot. So BB is a 20-hit AOE attack, BC requirement of 22, drop check of 20 per enemy unit, and a damage modifier of 260%. Alright, we got the SBB. It is a 24-hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 16, 24 drop check per enemy unit with a damage modifier of 500%. Alright, and then lastly you got the UBB, which is a 34-hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 20 and 34 drop check per enemy unit with a damage modifier of 1000%. Pretty solid. All right, imp caps on Michelle, 1000 for the HP, 300 for attack, 600 for defense, 400 for recovery. All right, Now let's get down to what she is capable of. Alright, her leader skill is called 5 Light Souls. She's a rainbow lead, guys, alright? So 30% boost to max HP and 100% boost to attack of all allies when 5 or more elements are present, and greatly boosts BB gauge fill rate. And that boost is by 40%. Alright, so any one of you guys out there that are using Quaid leads, alright, Michelle is a viable substitute. I personally am using Krantz lead for Arena right now. He is wrecking. He is straight up wrecking, son. I really liking Krantz right now. So rainbow leads, as far as Arena, Quaid, Michelle, and Krantz. Alright, I like Krantz the most. Krantz has pretty much the exact same leader skills as Michelle, except instead of the 40% boost to BB gauge fill rate, he increases BC and HC drop rate by 12%. Alright, so yeah, I just like Krantz more. That's the main reason. Michelle, easily a good unit for Arena. Frontier Hunter, she's not too bad either. All of her attacks have high hit count. She paints, which is also good. So Michelle, definitely solid unit, guys, no doubt about that. Okay. Her extra skill is called Contemplate in the Future. Adds Dark Element to BB and SBB for 3 turns, and when Dual Fragment is equipped, which is a sphere, guys, that's the sphere you got to get from her Grand Guided Chronicles dungeon. Alright, when you equip that to Michelle, 20% boost to all stats. Excellent. Alright, then we got her BB. It's called Howling Flare. 20 combo powerful fire attack on all foes, boost attack, and that's by 115% at BB level 10, and adds fire element to attack for 3 turns. Alright, good stuff there. We got the SBB, which is definitely a super upgrade. Megiddo Cross Blaze. 24 combo powerful fire attack on all foes, boost attack and critical hit rate. Alright, it boosts attack by 140% and boosts critical hit rate by 40% at SBB level 10. Alright, then of course it still adds that fire element for 3 turns to your attacks. And then the UBB is called Furious Juno, Juneau. We're going to pronounce that Juno. I could be completely wrong, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Alright, it is a 34 combo massive fire attack on all foes and boosts attack and critical damage for 3 turns. Alright, so attack gets a 220% boost, critical damage gets a 300% boost with the UBB. Alright, so you got that for 3 turns. So definitely turn your squad into some wrecking balls with that UBB for certain. Alright, so that is what the big girl Michelle is capable of. Alright, so last but not least, as we make our way down the line here, we got big homie Melchio. Shout out to my boy Bobby Chop / Bobby Shuriken. This is like his #1 favorite unit right here. Alright, so big homie Melchio now got the 7-star. I personally really like his name, Invictus Xeno Melchio. That's a freaking tight name. I like it for sure. Alright, so this unit on your screen will be gigantic, guys. Alright, I highly recommend you put Melchio as far in the background of your unit as possible. Preferably the upper right corner, so he's just up and out of the way. Alright, because he's huge. Alright, he takes up a ton of your screen. He's huge. Alright, that's a quick side note. Let's get into what Melchio is all about, okay? So Melchio has a 16 hit normal attack. Alright, drop check of 3 per hit for a total of 48. So Melchio still a beast with that normal attack BC production. Alright, that's what he was known for ever since his 6-star. So very, very happy to see they did not change up that aspect of him. Alright, so just that DC alone, that BC generational normal attack alone makes him a very viable unit for Arena. Alright, 48 is considerable. If you put a sphere like the Shiny Ankling on him, which doubles that hit count, yeah, you're gonna see some serious BC production out of this bad boy. Alright, I'm seriously thinking about raising up another Melchio and using him like that. Thinking about it anyway. But in the meantime, let's keep discussing them. Alright, BB is an 18 hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 22. It gives you 18 on the drop check per enemy unit with a damage modifier of 240%. Alright, you got the SBB, 20 hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 20 drop check per enemy unit, and 450% damage modifier. And lastly, you have the UBB, which is a 24 hit AoE attack with a BC requirement of 24 drop check per enemy unit, and a 1000% damage modifier. Okay, now Melchio is pretty much the standard for 7 stars as far as his imp caps. All right, 1100 on the HP and 440 for the other 3 stats: attack, defense, recovery. All right, now Melchio has officially kicked Orwin off of his throne for the best lead for Metal Parade. All right, 7-star Melchio is the king once again. All right, Orwin was, at least in my opinion, now 7-star Melchio for sure. All right, so here's why. Leader skills called Destructive Threat, probable defense ignore effect. All right, and that is a 15% chance to ignore defense. All right, 80% boost attack, and hugely boosts BB gauge when attacking normally. All right, so that's a guaranteed. All right, it's guaranteed to give you 7 BCs on normal attack, and that is why he is the king of Metal Parade now. He's the king. He's the leader of it. So he's the lead you want. All right. The only bad thing about him is he doesn't really have defense nor ignore attacks himself. All right, but his leader skill is the best for it. All right, his extra skill is called Soul Blessed by the Gods. All right, adds status element recover effect to BB and SBB, which takes Melchio up to a whole nother level with that. All right, and also with his white armor is equipped, which is the sphere I have equipped on him here. All right, you get that from the GGC dungeon in the Vortex. All right, when you equip that sphere, 20% boost to all stats. All right, good stuff. Now his BB is called Aspros, 18 combo powerful, all elemental attack on all foes, negates all status ailments, and with his extra skill also recovers it. That's why he's a beast now, and adds light element to attack for 3 turns. Alright, now let me tell you guys right off the bat and let you in on a little bit of a secret. Okay, I have not tested this myself, but I have heard through the grapevine that even though the description says it's an all elemental attack, that he does not attack with dark. Alright, so it's only 5 elements, not all 6. Like I said, I haven't tested that myself. I could be completely wrong, but that is what I'm hearing through the grapevine, guys. So I highly recommend that if you can, test it out. Alright, test it for yourselves and see what is what. Alright, highly recommend you do that. Okay, now let's move on to the SBB. It's called Belial Close. 20 combo powerful, all elemental attack on all foes, negates status ailments, and recovers them with the extra skill. Adds light element to attack, and boosts defense relative to attack for 3 turns. Alright, and the way that works, he takes 30% of your defense and basically stacks it on your attack, or excuse me, 30% of your attack and stacks it on top of your defense. I don't know why I get that mixed up at times. So pretty good stuff. Once again, that does stack with, say, LMO's SBB, which already gives you 140% defense. This will still stack. Alright, so you'll get even more defense. Just turn your freaking crew into a steel wall. Love it. Alright, and then the UBB is called Dusk Demon's Advent. 24 combo massive all elemental attack on all foes, removes all status ailments and negates them for 3 turns, and reduces damage taken by 75% for 1 turn. Alright, now, although that is a good UBB in my opinion, it's not going to be highly used in my opinion. Main reason being, you're not really going to care to use it for removing and negating status ailments. Okay, he already does that with his BB and his SBB once you unlock the extra skill. And also, reduce damage taken by 75% for 1 turn. There are many mitigators out there now that do it for more turns than 1. Alright, so I don't think you're really going to get a whole lot of use out of his UBB. But otherwise, Melchio is a freaking solid unit. Alright, he's good for arena. He's good for Frontier Hunter. Of course, he's good for quests. He's good for trials. I mean, Melchio is just that dude. He's good. He's good. So shout out to my boy Bobby Schmurder, aka Bobby Chop, aka Bobby Shuriken, for the love for Melchio, man. So That is pretty much gonna wrap this video up, guys. I hope this time it worked all the way through. This is my third time trying to record this crap. I really hope it works. All right. So otherwise, we're gonna wrap this video up. If you wish to join the Facebook group, link down below in the description. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Please continue to like, subscribe, favorite, share, comment, and everything else. And of course, I will be back at your screen with more Brave Frontier Global soon. Later, guys.